Great Nigerians, welcome to your darling station again. We're back again, your favorite program, Issues of the Moment. And today's Issues of the Moment, we will be looking at the Independent National Electoral Commission that has postponed the governorship and state assembly elections till March 18th. Away from that, the Court of Appeal has refused to retrain the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from reconfiguring the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, BVAS, ahead of governorship and state assembly elections. And finally, today, if time permits, we'll also be looking at the Lagos spare parts market, burnt after fans tweet. These are many more will be coming your way. As usual, I have professionals who are analysts in the studio who will be looking into these issues. Just don't get away. From my far left today, I have St. Moses Obunna. St. Moses Obunna is a practicing lawyer, a philosopher, and also a human rights activist. Barrister St. Moses, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
After him, I have Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi. Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi is a historian and a political affairs analyst. He's a man that deals with dates and numbers. And Comrade, you're welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me, and greetings to you, our viewers.
Last but not least today is Barrister Chukwuemeka Nwogu. Barrister Chukwuemeka Nwogu is a practicing lawyer, a security consultant, and also a public affairs analyst. Barrister, welcome to the program.
Thank you, moderator, and good day, viewers.
Right, today, I know in Nigeria today we talked so much about the just concluded presidential and national assembly elections. We talked about them, and also most of the things we looked as if we were preempting the court, just like you rightly said. I want to start with you, Council. The Independent National Electoral Commission has postponed the governorship and state assembly elections till March 18. Do we foresee any danger in this? Because a lot of people have prepared and it's coming less than 48 hours to the election.
Well, I don't foresee any danger. Recall that on a sister program yesterday, I had made will I say prediction or the forecast that we could have this scenario playing out, and indeed it has played out, whereby the tribunal would not be able to or would refuse to stop INEC from the reconfiguration of the BVAS machines, and then even if it did, it might then lead to a postponement of the elections. I think the way the court went about it granted the parties the right to carry out the interrogatories and discoveries and inspections, and thereafter INEC to quickly do that which it needed to do, which is the reconfiguration, and that is giving us 1 week extra. Now the Electoral Act itself provided even for putting off of elections. Whenever the electoral body, the umpire, comes to a conclusion based on facts before it, and it would not be the first time in this nation that we are deferring elections. So there's nothing really magical about it. Yes, they can do it, even in the event of a by-election, a rerun.
Okay, comrade, the INEC announced that elections will be postponed to allow for 1 week of preparation and official to make sure that they are well prepared. And before now, they had always convinced Nigerians that they are prepared and ready to go. Nobody foresaw this postponement because of this reconfiguration.
Yes, I think I may differ slightly from council submissions. I say this because in this country I do not know why we don't actually take national issues seriously. And let me also say it this way. You see, on the 9th of February, to be precise, INEC issued a conference where they said they were 90% ready for the elections. Later, they said it was 95% now. That's their preparedness or their preparation or their readiness for the election. It was up to 95%. Now, you've done this election, you've had the presidential election and the National Assembly election. Now, you are now postponing this. I wouldn't know. But what I have to say is, you see, in the course of this election, let us also remember that students have been staying at home. The campuses are vacated, and the polytechnics and even secondary schools. The issue is that in this country, we don't take cognizance of the fact that an hour is very important. Maybe it's because we don't do our job relation and then payment in terms of man hour. You understand? If at all we are practicing that, we have known what we've lost. Do you know the amount of money we've lost so far? Billions of money. If you have to calculate that, and the people are, as we speak now, are still staying at home. You understand? So to me, we've just wasted this March, a wasted month, out of the 12 calendar month. In fact, in the financial year, we wasted March as a nation.
Okay.
So to me, I wouldn't know, and it's also another wonder of INEC. Like I did mention yesterday, INEC has been performing wonders. So this is another wonder. You told us you were 90% ready by 9th of February. Later you said you were up to 95% ready. Now you are telling us this. I think INEC should be interrogated.
All right, Sir Moses Obuna, the INEC stopped at 95% ready. And do you think the remaining 5% is the reason for the postponement of this governorship and state assembly election?
When INEC introduced the BVAS and used it in conducting an election at Abuja and is it Ekiti?
Ekiti, yes.
Ekiti State.
Even Anambra. Even Edo State.
From the outcome of those elections, everybody believed what INEC was telling us. That they were, even when they were saying 95%, nobody envisaged that the 5% means anything.
And they are relying on the 5% to perform wonders.
And I know very well that INEC was 100% ready. INEC never envisaged what is happening now. I know that there is a principle in politics I call the principle of Judaism. INEC played the Judaic branch of Nigeria. They perfected Edo. They used Ekiti. They used Ashu. They used Anambra to deceive everybody in believing and relying upon what INEC was saying. So nobody had anything to question INEC. Even when they did the mock testing
of the BVAS,
yes, they came out perfect. We never knew. If you know the principle of Judaism, Judaism has two faces. It is a principle that will make you have confidence, play into somebody's confidence. Somebody will make you rely upon him.
And you form
good. And now you play into his hands and rely upon him, and he will sell you like Judas did. That's one aspect, one phase of Judaic principle. Another phase is that this person will be attacking you, making the public believe that you are his enemy. And you begin to believe in everything he is saying about that person. And he will catch you off guard. In the end, when you have his confidence and he has your confidence, he will betray you and use every guard you should have had to walk towards that person and make him win. That is what Buhari played upon us. So these two persons used judicial reason. Why we thought that Buhari was attacking Tinubu, thinking that every policies, even the MFLA policy of redesigning money,
And not having any money anywhere.
we thought they were doing all that to stop Tinubu from using his
Or even others as well, from buying voters.
We never knew they were creating these drugs, punishing Nigerians, in the end doing the same thing every Nigerian thought they ought not to do. You see, when you postpone the election, it is the best thing for them, because they never thought there could be reactions from Nigerians the way reactions are coming. They never knew that Nigerians were also prepared. They thought they had gotten us where they wanted us. They introduced what appears to be very good, impeccable, something nobody can hack into, thinking that every Nigerian will rely upon them, not knowing that the people they were talking about are also ready in case these people goes out of their way. So that is why the result INEC is getting, what the delayers INEC applied on presidential election, if they had wanted to perfect it, if they were wise criminals, both House of Reps result and the House of
The Senate.
the Senate result and the presidential election would have had equal problems. And how can you explain to anybody that the same BVAS we used in voting for House of Reps and everything was uploaded fine?
Yes.
We used it on Senate, everything went the same time,
And they were simultaneously
the
done.
same person. When it comes to that of the presidency, BVAS refused to operate. That can tell anybody that something.
And I will still get to that.
Again, sir. INEC also in their 95% preparation told us that for every BVAS, you remember that there were destructions. Certain INEC offices
Were burnt, yes.
were burnt. And they asked INEC, is that going to affect? Say no. For every one BVAS, there are 2 backups. That means the BVAS that was used during the National Assembly, we don't need to reconfigure it, because there is another or 2 other BVAS or BVASs that were not used. They have not.
BVAS machines.
Okay,
BVAS machines.
If you want to minus the machine, then BVAS
BVASs.
will create that dictionary. All right. Now, on that same yesterday, that is Wednesday, the Commission had convinced the Abuja Division of the Court of Appeal to carry its order granting P2B of the Labour Party and Atiku Abubakar of the PDP permission to inspect the election materials on the premise that it had to reconfigure the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, the BVAS, for the conduction of the polls on Saturday. Council, you know, we talked about this, the request of P2B, the late council, Dr. Idazo, who now insisted that the reconfiguring of the BVAS will stop the evidence they intend to get, and then asked the court not to do that. But on that same yesterday, they were able to convince the court and then asked P2B to go ahead. They granted them permission, and even Atiku, you know, to look into that, to enable them to configure this.
Well, I think, notwithstanding the fact that what I am going by is what is already in the public domain, I do not yet have access to the ruling, the detailed ruling given by the court. So I'm just going by what is in the social media, hoping and praying that it will not be like the usual social media report, that what they are saying is indeed what the court had said. If what is out there is indeed what the court had said, then what it simply means is that the petitioners would first have access to inspect the documents, inspect the machines,
Yes.
the reports generated and the mode through which they were generated, go through everything. Thereafter, INEC will now go and format the machines. I gave that example yesterday, like you're dealing with a flash drive and there's evidence on it. If you've already printed or transferred to some other flash drives, then you can format that earlier one. However, if that is not done before INEC goes ahead to reconfigure, and I use the word to format, then it means there's a problem. It means that the petitioners may not be able to establish their case in court, principally because they would have failed in one of the cardinal principles or ingredients required of them to prove falsification of results, which is tendering of two sets of results. The official one that you are saying is false, and then the authentic one, which I want to believe that they already have. Though even the official one may equally in some areas have some semblance of resemblance with whatever it is that they have. However, to cap it all, with the extension, with the grant of the right to inspect or the access to inspect, and then with the extension that would enable INEC to reconfigure, I expect that everybody would coast home clear. My only little problem, sir, is that I no longer trust INEC at all. I no longer trust INEC. Even the way they are still going about it up till now, even their position in court and everything, I don't trust INEC. And my view tallies with the view of millions of other Nigerians.
All right, comrade, INEC has granted P2B of the Labour Party and Atiku Abubakar of the PDP, granted them permission to inspect the election materials because of this reconfiguration of the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System,
yes,
known as the BVAS. And having granted them this, do you think, before granting them this, that the materials are still intact?
That is where I have problem now, to be honest, to even begin with that. That is where I'm having problem now. I can't process the rationale behind it, because I said not once, not twice, not in fact, we through various civil society platforms, we created a lot of interfaces with INEC through which we interact with them, and we also inspected the BVAS test running, or when they were putting the BVAS machines to the test, we were there to also observe the exercise of the system. INEC at any point never mentioned that the BVAS will be needing reconfiguration, you understand? Upon completion of one exercise. These are the things INEC ought to have prepared, you understand, ahead of time, or to have even factored in the manual, the guidelines it gave to us and other well-meaning Nigerians. But unfortunately, this is coming as a little thing. And then people are now beginning to see the hand of Jacob. And the voice of Esau.
No, the hand of Esau.
The hand of Esau and the voice of Jacob, brother. So people are now beginning to suspect what INEC is doing. And I have said it before, that I have, in fact, the confidence gap between Nigerians and INEC is widening. And I will tell you why. Because I said the other day that if INEC could love a tweet emanating from someone, in fact, unabashedly, there is a tweet from Sheun Kuti against Peter Obi. INEC loved that tweet. And they told us they would be punishing the person who was behind that. And they've not done that. How can I take INEC seriously again? So I wouldn't know, because like a council did mention and rightfully say, there are a lot of interpretations to all these things until we see the judgment itself. Whether or not Peter Obi and the Atiku, both of Labour and PDP, you understand, will first inspect these materials, or whether INEC will first configure, then allow them access, or I wouldn't know. But then the most important thing is this, that every material, gadget, electronic or whatsoever used for the purpose of election becomes exhibit, you understand, to be tendered before a court of law after the election. That is why you keep the ballot, you take them to or before the court to appear as exhibits. So I wouldn't know. So it is their right to inspect those things. But then, I think INEC should do better.
Okay, St. Moses Obonna, do we see what is happening between INEC, the executive, that is Mr. President, and also the court, as a script that INEC is now playing out?
Yeah, you see, I do not know what they canvassed at the court. Like counsel said, we have not seen
The judgment. Yeah.
the judgment. When INEC printed the ballot papers, there are two sets of ballot papers. One for the national, that's why the date is different. Of the president, the Senate, and the House of Representatives as a set. You now have another set for the governor and the state house. The same way the BVAS were provided. That was why when the mock BVAS was done, none was done on governorship. The mock trial that was conducted was on federal, because the BVAS for state governors and the houses of assembly had been used in Osho, in Ekiti, in Edo, in Anambra. There was no need for trial on them. The BVAS are not the same. The BVAS is like using one result sheet or one set of ballot papers for National Assembly, which the BVAS has been configured to suit the elections of the National Assembly. And another set of BVAS for State House of Assembly. INEC coming to tell us that they want to reconfigure the BVAS that was used for the national elections is making mockery of themselves, because they now see that the level of malpractice was so much that the only way they can, scuttle, they deceive the court is by reconfiguring the, which they will not use. The BVAS are not the same. They cannot finish configuring the whole BVAS that was used during the presidential election within the short period for the whole nation. That means when they are reconfiguring, it means the whole BVAS that was used will be reconfigured. INEC cannot deceive us. They have the set that has been tried, that has been used, that has been perfected in the state elections.
Yes, election level.
So the one they are going to use for the they used in the national elections were different. That was why they did their mock trials.
Okay. All right, the council, I'm going back to you. In the ruling, like you said, you've not heard, delivered on Wednesday, a 3-member panel of the Court of Appeal, led by Joseph Ikeje, held that returning the electoral...
Justice, you mean?
Yes, led by Joseph Ikeje. Yes.
Honorable Justice Joseph.
Joseph Ikeje.
Okay, please ascribe it properly.
Very
yes. Don't just say Joseph.
Yes, in the ruling delivered on Wednesday, a 3-member panel, the Court of Appeal, led by Honorable Justice Joseph Ikeje,
We need it that way.
held that returning the Electoral Commission will constrain INEC constrain INEC from conducting the March 11th election. And we talked about this yesterday, that P2B presidential candidate of the Labour Party had sought an order of the court restraining the first defendant, INEC, from tampering with the information. But yesterday, the court had granted it for the success of the Guba and the State Houses of Assembly election.
Now you see, is that all the court said?
Yes.
That's all.
Yes, for the success.
I wouldn't, as a lawyer, I wouldn't agree. You have what you call consequential orders that necessarily. That's why I said I will not go by what is in the social media, because you have a lot of sensationalism on social media. They just isolate one sentence, one paragraph, one line that they need to make their point, and then the consequential orders, which give fuller meaning and explanation as to the order made, are omitted. That's not the area that is bothering the writers. So I will still maintain my stand. For us to have a proper and holistic appreciation of the order made, we need to get the language actually used. The court wouldn't just say restraining INEC would interfere with the conducting of election and stop there. No, I mean,
even if they said that they had to reconfigure it,
yes,
the consequential order I thought added or ought to be added after.
Exactly, and that is the impression that some of us have. That
if that order is not
the parties were allowed to take their evidence. And thereafter the court, the INEC will now reconfigure.
Good.
If and when I was answering the very first question you asked me, I said, if that is what the court said, that I think it is okay, because you have what you call balance of convenience in granting such orders sought. The court is allowed to exercise a lot of discretion, and both sides present all facts before the court. The court will weigh it on the imaginary scale. There is an order that the court would make, then INEC will refuse to conduct elections and say, sorry, my hands are tied. And everybody will turn around and still blame the same court. So a situation where courts, in preserving the right of the parties to present their case properly before it, allows them to go in, take the evidence they want, make the discoveries, and then
take this again before you conclude. And like I said it earlier, that the commission had convinced the Abuja division of the Court of Appeal to carry its order granting Peter Obi of the Labour Party and Atiku Abubakar of the PDP the permission to inspect the electoral materials on the premise that it had to reconfigure.
That is what the respondent said.
Yeah.
Respondent applicant, because you're dealing with the INEC as a respondent that now brought an application to vary an earlier order. Now, this is their argument.
Yes.
The question, what did the court say? Tell us what the court said.
Now, the court.
Yes. What did the court say? What was the consequential order made? Not just to say restraining INEC would have this effect. The court will go further to now say, upon this application, I will allow these people to inspect. Or are you telling us that the court has foreclosed the inspection of the documents?
The Court of Appeal
yes,
has refused to restrain the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, from reconfiguring the Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, BVAS,
yes,
ahead of the governorship and the State Assembly election.
We have gotten that.
Yes.
The court said it wouldn't.
And said in the ruling,
yes,
delivered on Wednesday, a 3-member panel court of the Court of Appeal, led by Honorable Justice Joseph Ikeje, held that restraining the Electoral Commission would constrain INEC from conducting the March 11 elections.
We got that. The area we seem to be having issues, and that is the gray area. What did the court say about the right? Yes, it is a right of the petitioner to carry out interrogatories, discoveries, inspections.
Inspection, yes.
They've granted Peter Obi and the permission.
That is the point being made. That INEC can carry out the reconfiguration.
After.
But that will be after
If that order is not given
the discoveries.
because we have heard from
if
the great
INEC reconfigure,
And you don't think that is one of the reasons for the postponement?
you seem
To
not
enable them
no,
to
hold
do
on.
the inspection.
No, hold on. Let me explain.
Okay.
You do not place the cart before the horse. One process comes before the other. They had been granted the right, the application to go in,
yes,
carry out the inspections and make discoveries. Okay? Fine. Now INEC said, in so doing, INEC was also restrained from tampering with the system. They brought an application to vary. And the court, in now ruling, now said, I will not stop INEC from reconfiguring. The earlier order made allowing inspection and discovery is still in force.
That's it.
Good. If that is the case, then it naturally follows that the reconfiguration will be done after.
Yes.
Good.
After they are gone through.
And that
yes,
that necessarily is what has moved the date forward.
But
Because these people
exactly
would first inspect, take the materials they need, then which by the time they complete it would have entered into, today is already Thursday, would have entered into Saturday election. INEC says, I need time. Don't allow them to do this thing, I need time. Both sides will have their rights. The right to carry out the inspections, the right to reconfigure. And that is why INEC has now moved the date forward.
yes.
But I am saying that the INEC deceived the court.
And deceived themselves. INEC deceived everybody. Deceived every Nigerian.
The BVAS that is sought to be reconfigured has nothing to do with the governorship.
The coming election. That's the point being made by St. Moses. And I think it is valid because if I also go by a point earlier on made by Comrade, that when they were carrying out their own duties as civil society organizations,
Yes.
that INEC gave them information to the effect that for every BVAS, you have at least two more
backing it.
backing it up. If that is the case, it means that
They don't
for
have
that
business.
presidential election that the BVAS has gone, there are two others that you can now use. Or at least let's say one other. Question: assuming those materials had been destroyed, wouldn't INEC conduct the election? Furthermore, also to buttress the point being made by St. Moses, recall also that there was this sensational news that came up about people who were arrested in somewhere in Abuja.
Yeah.
And it was discovered that the BVAS machines were not the BVAS machines for the presidential election. They were blank. They were blank. I would want to believe, and the police eventually came up with this explanation. That is why nobody has been charged to court. They said those people are actually INEC contractors, engineers. So it means that what INEC needs to conduct election on Saturday, conduct the governorship election,
It's not the BVAS.
it's not the BVAS. That's the
The
point.
national
That's not the BVAS that was used.
They can't be
for,
the same. The
even if
constituencies
it
are
is
not
the same, even if it is the same, INEC has the capability, the logistics to fall back on the backlog that they have and carry out this, the election.
If these BVAS are not the same, why talking about this reconfiguration?
Because INEC has been deceiving Nigerians.
They want to cover their
It is
tracks.
obvious that INEC has been most economical with the truth before the elections, during the elections, and after the elections. It is mischief aforethought.
All right,
Mischief aforethought.
wonderful viewers, we are going to go on a very short break, and when we come back, issues of the moment, we will continue, and then from here we'll be taking you to what happened in Lagos and the market in Lagos. Don't go away and keep watching Living TV. We'll be back shortly.
And so you can keep on watching Living TV. I can say in pidgin English, Living TV. Unade Kampe.
Living TV, bringing the word first to you.
Wonderful viewers and great Nigerians, I am glad you're still there watching your favorite station, the Living Television. We are back again. Remember, there's still your favorite program, Issues of the Moment. Moving on today, like we mentioned, Lagos spare parts market burnt after fans tweet. The cause of the fire is yet to be ascertained, but some of the traders have claimed that their shops were burnt by political thugs seeking to intimidate them against working for their preferred candidates in Lagos, and that they only use this, to intimidate them to make sure they vote not their own candidates but the one that is imposed on them. But shortly before now, there is a Twitter that is going on as made by Fani Kayode that led to all this by the traders in that market. There is this Labour Party candidate, Badebo Rhodes, yes, whose mother and wife are Igbos, and who is running a paternity anti-Yoruba and pro-Igbo campaign, and is one of those that burned properties during the NSAS riot. Now, the Fani Kayode's tweet, our liberalism and willingness to accommodate others has become our biggest albatross. We gave them land, food, clothes, and shelter, and now they want to take everything from us and rule over us. They have even infiltrated our churches and introduced a brand of religious intolerance which is alien to us. They want to deny us that which our forefathers built, fought, and died for. And they want to decimate our identity and redefine who we are. Please, take this seriously and take note that it is beyond politics. Lagos is for Lagosians, and Lagosians are Yorubas. We welcome visitors and strangers with love, kindness, and open arms because that is our nature. But we will never let them rule over us in our father's land. Take our land and territory and deprive us our patrimony, heritage, and ancestry. Anything short of this will be an abomination and attract the wrath and curse of God. We know who we are and what is ours. Nothing and nobody will take that from us. It is time to reclaim Lagos, and the first step to doing that is to vote Jide in the governorship election on Sunday. I call on all sons and daughters of the Southwest and all true friends of Lagos and the South to come out and vote for Jide and the APC on that day. Yeah, that's the Jide Sanwo-Olu.
Yes.
And this is the tweet, and those in the market said it was after this tweet that this attack.
Actually, I think I read that tweet.
Okay, let me start with it.
Okay, sorry, I jumped the gun.
Continue. That's your area. He's usually very busy on
Yes, and I want to say it this way. See, that tweet was supremacist, it was irredentist, and ultra-radical. And this is a tweet coming from a man who had been told by the DSS to report every day. We know where that man would have been if he happened to have, if he had been an Igbo person, or people like us. We know where he would have been today. We know where he would have been now. You understand? And this is a very controversial figure. Before now, he was attacking Muhammad Buhari and his government. Even Bola Tinubu, whom he is defending now. Today.
Then he was hungry.
Then today now, and Obasanjo said, Obasanjo said, if you want to get him, just have his food and drinks, feed him well and let him have. Then he will. And this is a man we've seen before. Take on a reporter, talk down a reporter for asking him who was funding his movement. He talked down on a reporter. In fact, he nearly fought that young man for asking him a question. So we can begin to talk about his ills. But there is something to it. You see, I was reading the part. He said our liberalism has cost us, has become our abatrus. You see, I want to make this without even sounding ethnically biased. Here we are is Alangba, and I will say this, and it's my personal opinion. In the 80s up to the 2000s, after the Civil War in 1970, the Igbo were held back by certain policies. Education had a lapse. Then the Yoruba dominated virtually all the multinational corporations, even commercial banks in Aba. If you had been in Aba by the 90s, you go to Unilever, you go to PZ, that's Patterson Zokonich, you go to 7-Up Bottling Company, you go to Coca-Cola, you go to the banks, you also go to GlaxoSmithKline, that's GSK, you go to Livestock Feed, you go to Vitafoam. They were all dominated by the Yoruba. Nobody protested. I never heard once that Unga people took, in fact, the same way people in Warri and then other places in the 999 that I have seen, the same way they go to collect what they call marching grant. I didn't see that happen here. We accommodated them. We allowed them to lead. Now, what is the issue here now is that people are progressing in their business, and you call that control. People should be allowed to vote for whom they want to vote for. But unfortunately, this same Lagos, we made reports and we told INEC that this place is ethnically charged. In 2015, an Oba said he would drown the Igbos if they vote for a particular candidate. Yes, in the lagoon. This same election again, another Bali, a traditional ruler, a custodian of their culture, had also said something about if you vote, you must show us whom you voted for. Where does it happen? And all this is happening. Not that the Igbo have not benefited from Lagos. They have benefited. We know. And it's not to be wished away. And I can also say that the Lagosians or the Yorubas didn't participate in the abandoned property saga. You understand? But unfortunately, because of some candidates with a primordial hit that cannot even allow themselves to be subjected to popularity tests, we are seeing all this play out. And it's unfortunate that we are driving this ethnic agenda on the part of a candidate. Now, the person who is saying this, Tinubu did not marry from the Yoruba. His wife is from Urobo. His son also married an Igbo. You understand? And the question of Lagos being a no man's land, people don't even understand that. That was something Jaja Wachuku said when the status of Lagos, I think in 1947, was in question. Should Lagos be administered separately as an FCT? You understand? Or should it be administered as part of the West? Even Fela's song said Lagos. He came out to say the same show. And we know the history. Even the people who are even virtually all these persons, virtually even the governors. Now ask yourself, the real owners of Lagos, the first settlers there are the Aworis. Go to the Lagos State House of Assembly. Go to the cabinet of the government. Go everywhere. You will not see the Aworis there. It's quite unfortunate.
Okay. Council, let me also come to you. You know, one of the biggest problems is that this man, the candidate for Labour Party, Bimodal, wrote, they said the mother is an Igbo, and they also married an Igbo wife, but he's a Yoruba man. And I think in our culture here, does the maternity of a person count so much like that of the paternity?
You see, that's why some people describe politics as a dirty game. Some of us would say no, it's not a dirty game, but it's a game played by
dirty
people, many of whom are very dirty, especially in their minds. In politics, it's almost like war. Everything that can give you any semblance of advantage will be called in. When people want to marry, when people want to make love, when people want to do things relating to activities in room, nobody cares where anybody is from.
Yeah.
Because there is no taste of Yoruba, no taste of Hausa, no taste of Igbo. You go ahead.
Calabar tastes differently.
So that being the case, why is it now? I mean, just look at it. You see a fine girl, you like her. You ask her her name, she tells you. And you tell her you like her. You're not scared, you don't care immediately about where she's from.
Yes,
the girl also asks the young man, what's your own name? He said, you don't really care. You begin to ask, where are you from? As you progress, as you make progress.
And maybe after the exam.
And sometimes you don't even bother. It is after the activities in Zaza room, according to Oga chief driver. So let me step it down a bit. The truth of the matter is that Lagos is Yoruba land. That is the truth of the matter. It is in Yoruba land. It belongs to the Yorubas. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
In politics, it is a game of number. And so, anything that you can lawfully call in to give you advantage of number is okay. For example, I'm an Ongwa man. My own mother is from Arochukwu, Old Bende. In Abia, you have two major divides, Old Aba, Old Bende. If I'm contesting election today, anywhere, I will leverage on the fact that I'm an Ongwa man and that my mom is from Arochukwu, which is Old Bende. I will go to my maternal people in their tradition, in their own way that they recognize, and appeal to them for votes. Appeal to the sentiment that I am one of them by maternal relationship. Now my own wife is not even from Abia State. My wife is not Igbo. She's from Delta State. I will now also reach out to other people residing in Abia, other Abians who are not of Abia origin. The Yorubas, the Hausas, to tell them, look, I am not myopic in my approach. I am not a tribalist. I am a well-balanced Nigerian. My wife is also not even Igbo. So the interest of non-Igbos will be protected. I will also leverage on that sentiment. And so if this young man, he's not a member of my party, but if he is contesting an election, his mother is Igbo. And everybody knows that the Igbos voted heavily in the elections just concluded last 2 Saturdays. There is no doubt again that you can no longer wish away the Igbo votes in Lagos. Even the governor, the present governor, is now going ahead to go and meet them, something that never happened prior to now. Meet the Igbos in their churches, in their enclaves, to appeal to them for vote. So if his mother is Igbo and he appeals to that sentiment, what is wrong with that? If his wife is Igbo and he appeals to that, I am your in-law. You know that in Igbo land we have 3 equals, 3 relationships. First is Ikunna. second is Ikunne, third is Ogo. And these are all very powerful relationships. So if he appeals to these three and uses it to secure vote, for God's sake, is there any illegality in it? It is very valid. So the people that are shouting and crying and have sent out their attack dog in the person of yes, who we know has no credibility, who speaks from both sides of the mouth. He blows hot and cold in one breath, just like Obasanjo said. It's like a puppy. Feed him and he would display loyalty towards that side that is feeding him. They've sent him to whip up sentiment. For God's sake, P2B is an Igbo man. He won the votes in Lagos State. Can you tell us that it was only Igbos that voted for P2B in Lagos? Certainly not. Yorubas voted for P2B in
So you had a Feniferes announcement this morning.
Of course, they endorsed him even before they had endorsed him before now. So nobody should try to sow seeds of discord between the Igbos and the Yoruba. We are not having any quarrel with them.
Hello, this is a living television, issues of the moment. Can we know your name and where you're calling from, your contribution or question?
Hello.
Hello, go ahead.
Okay, I'm calling from Abuja side, especially Umuchichi.
Okay, the name?
Yeah.
Okay, your name, sir.
It's an observation. I want to let you people know how this area is suffering from this cashless and what is happening around this place. There's no way you can buy something.
Okay, we will be taking that program tomorrow. Thank you for being part of this program. The program we are discussing today, if you are listening well, right now we've talked about P2B and the court. We've also discussed the postponement of the election. Right now we are discussing the bond market in Lagos. So tomorrow we'll be taking on that, so you can ask your question. We follow due process. This is what we're discussing now.
Okay.
And another program will be coming up immediately after now.
How the election has been postponed.
Yes.
The reason why the election was postponed is because what happened in the presidential election, we don't want that time to repeat itself again. People won the election, but it was rigged. So now they want to use, they don't want them to use, do this election the way they would do it, to manipulate this election like the presidential election that was happened last time. People came out, voted for their choice, but they were denied from their choice.
Yeah, that is the observation of Nigerians.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't tell us your name, please.
Huh?
Your name, sir.
Okay, I'm Kenneth Opara.
Okay.
That's my name.
Okay. I'm happy you called us in. Just keep calling in, and even tomorrow we have another program we call Nigeria Today, where most of these things will be discussed. Even after this program, there will be more programs, and most of our programs are calling, so that even now, as it is in your environment, when you were talking about this cashless policy, immediately after this program, the next program will be dealing on that as it concerns your environment. So you can also come up with that question and they will take it. Thank you very much.
Okay, you're welcome.
Sorry, let me land this point. There is no problem between the Igbos and the Yorubas.
Yes.
We are not quarreling with them.
Yes.
Many of us are married to them both ways. Even my own cousin is married to a Yoruba woman, and she has been a fantastic wife in the family.
Yes.
It's just some unscrupulous wicked,
elements.
evil politicians trying to sow seeds of discord,
Yeah.
so that figure recorded last time, they create a rift by going to burn a market, so that the Igbos will not get angry and say the Yorubas have come, or the Yorubas will get angry and say the Igbos have come. Nobody should try that nonsense. That is arrant nonsense that we shouldn't allow to stand in this nation.
All right,
we don't have any quarrel with the Yorubas.
All right, St. Moses, looking at this man, Paneka Yode, and you had a statement.
I'm surprised that the police
have allowed him to continue to walk about freely.
My
When he was
He should
wanting
be
to
held
do
responsible
DSS.
for that fire in that market first, and let him go to make some statements.
There's what we call hate speech. There is a law
Yes.
on it. And there is another one we call incitement. Inciting the people. Fani Kayode, before him, you remember when El-Rufai says that no Igbo man will be allowed to become president. El-Rufai said that. No Igbo man. That is the reason why Obi will fail. After that, Ebale, like he said that if you do not vote for Tinubu, you better go home. He called the meeting of Igbos and addressed them. During the election, some Yoruba people sent by December said, if you know you have come here to vote for another party, go home. So when Fani Kayode tweeted, he was very direct
And provocative.
and
Very
asking
very
his people
hateful.
to attack the Igbos. Not minding that the Igbos were not the people that voted for Obi. It is
Nigerians voted for Peter Obi. Nigerians.
Even at the unit where the street where Bola Tinubu lives,
Yes.
the
And
Bodleian,
controls as
The Bodleian.
the Bodleian,
Obi
He
won
lost,
election.
Obi won.
Obi won him there. Is it the Igbos that
Meaning that his Yoruba brothers voted for Obi.
Then if you're talking about the FCT, Obi also won the FCT.
You understand? So for him to give this tweet that led to the burning of the market, I think I should advise the
Security agency.
not
DSS.
security. They are not.
His matter is already-
They are not some interlopers.
Yeah.
The union leaders of that market should do a petition, attach the tweet to it, and they report to the IGP and DSS, so that they will call Fani Kayode to order. Fani Kayode, which they repeated what he said, that instead of him to vote for Tinubu, it's better that he dies.
That he will never join the APC.
APC.
That is instead of
Today they have greased his mouth.
You
They
understand?
have greased his
So
mouth
what
with
the
little
Obasanjo said
oil.
about it.
Yes,
It's an
with little oil. And he has
irresponsible man.
At the point he was even taking sides
Boy.
with Nnamdi Kanu.
Oh boy, okay.
You see, he will try to sound pro-Igbo and attack Buhari on the basis of Nnamdi Kanu's travels and the audience, and you want to take him seriously. You see, we have a lot of ethnic irredentists, like I've said before, using politics to sell their ethnic words. And it's quite unfortunate that FFK is one of such persons. I can't say the unprintable things he even said about Bianca. Why would it always be about this particular ethnic group? Just to make sure you subjugate or you relegate. And that is not the essence of politics. The essence of politics is to win. You understand? Because certain things may remain permanent. Certain scars may remain permanent. And this is why it is important. And I like the point council just landed. You see, this election will still come and go. People will still intermarry. People will still do businesses. But I regret this arsonist attack as it happened on that market. And I think what the logician in our midst said is right. The market unions and leaders should do a strong and well-worded petition to the IGP of police and then also to the Director General of the DSS to bring this man to book. Because if you look at that tweet, I am not sure he even finished the whole thing. Very
He ought to be arraigned in court and remanded in custody before the next election so that it will send a message. Arraign him in court, maybe Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday next week, latest. He is in court. He will be remanded in custody.
Those are the kind of people that deceive the INEC chief and tell him, go ahead and
And that nothing will happen.
Nothing will happen.
Well, the man who is the Bimodal, the man who is also on the side of the Igbos, has assured them that that he added that there is nothing they can do to stop what is coming up. The Labour Party is going to allow us, and the Crespe Parts Market is one of the biggest in Lagos, and then dominated also by the Igbos, and that is exactly why they have done this. All right, now, before we call it a day, Council, let me start with you. I want the three things we've talked about, I want your parting word on them.
Well, we are still making progress. It's a work in progress.
Hello, you're welcome to Living Television. This is Issues of the Moment. Your name and where you're calling us from, your contribution or question.
I'm just calling from Benefit, but I just want to make an inquiry about something.
Okay. Okay.
Living Television in Nigeria or outside Nigeria?
Living Television is in Nigeria, precisely in Abia State, Aba, Enyimba City. Yes, it's in Aba, Abia State.
That's right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. The address and phone numbers are there. They're on the screen. You can always call. Okay.
Okay. So we shouldn't mind the likes of FFK, who are trying. The devil is using such people because there are several of them across the divide. You have them in the north, you have them in the west, you have them in the east and south. Everywhere they are there. They don't see anything good in fellow mankind. So people shouldn't mind them. Go ahead and vote. It's really unfortunate what has happened to our brothers in that market. I expect the Lagos State government to come up immediately with palliatives aimed at assisting them restore normalcy to their lives. They shouldn't even wait. I expect that before the close of work today, the Lagos State government ought to say something. And then I also expect the security agencies to send a note of warning to everybody by arraigning FKFK latest Wednesday next week. He should be in court, he should be remanded in custody, he should stay in custody while the election takes place on Saturday next week. And for others, let us keep our cool and vote according to our conscience.
All right, comrade, the parting word.
Yes, thank you so much. I think mine is to say that INEC owes Nigeria a debt. Yes, INEC is indebted to us. It owes us a debt of making sure that the elections of 18 March, when they happen.
Hello, Living Television, Issues of the Moment. Your name and where you're calling us from. Yes. Your name and where you're calling from. Okay, Auntie Glory, go ahead.
I'm calling from Abuja Road.
Okay.
My concern is what is happening concerning this cashless policy. What is government saying about it? Because people are suffering. A lot of people are dying of hunger.
Okay.
People are with their money in the bank, but they cannot get their money and eat freely.
All right.
I want government to look on it so that people will start feeding very well, and a lot of people are falling sick. So that's my complaint. Thank you.
All right, just hold on. You are in the next 10 minutes. They will be coming on air to discuss environmental issues as it is in your environment. Our presenter Jane will be handling that. You can now call in. They will tell you what to do and give remedy if there's any, and also make sure that your complaint gets to the appropriate quarters. Thank you for calling.
Yes, so INEC owes us a debt, a very huge one, something bigger than the debt the Nigerian state had incurred. Yes, it's the debt of bridging or narrowing the confidence gap, which is widening. One. Number two, it is a debt that has to sound out as an apology to the 39% first-time voters that went out there, people, including those who came back from universities and then polytechnics and what have you. And having said this, I think we should all, like council admonished, we should all allow cooler heads to prevail. Again, mine is this FFK. To me, he has actually shown us the method, his own method or what he is worth. And this is a man we all know, you understand? And we've known his kind of politics for now. I think there is every need for the various security agencies to take note of him. His name was mentioned. If you had followed the release from the National Peace Council when they were having elections, then they came to sign peace instruments. The other day they had a meeting. The second convening, he was singled out. Why is it always him? He was singled out by the committee, saying that people were using their social media platforms and handheld to bring about, in fact, to hit up the polity, to incite hate, rancor, bitterness,
that's the only way he feels relevant.
That is the only thing he does to feel relevant. And that misleading thousands of followers following him. And why would the peace committee mention his name? This is a peace committee telling you that somebody is bringing about anarchy, bringing about disorder, bringing about disruption of public peace. So the security agency should do the needful to rein him in. He is raging like a mad dog.
All right, St. Moses.
Mine is that each time I see the INEC chairman on the screen, I see a man who is shapeless.
Without any apologies, completely.
If I should be allowed, I will ask him to show us what he has professed to merit that title, professor. If all the returning officers from the states are professors, and they are trying to rig in a person who has contributed to the woes of our universities.
And who has refused to produce any certificate. The only certificate he has is the one he framed, given to him some days ago, the certificate of return. That is the first certificate he's ever presenting about. And he framed it, and he's been carrying it all over the nation. He will go to this person, he will present it. I now finally have a certificate. He will go to another person, I now have a certificate. All along, he has never produced any certificate.
So I'm thinking that the first thing every Nigerian should ask for is not the reconfiguration of the BVAS. It's not the extension of the election date. It is not even the inspection of the electoral materials, but it is for Professor Mahmoud to resign. And let's have another person who will conduct an election that will not disunite this country, that will not set this country on fire. That shows that Mahmoud had a script he wanted to perfect, irrespective of whether this country is on fire or whether the citizens of this country likes what he has done or not, provided he is able to hoist his paymasters. I think I am asking for him to resign. Honorably, or be shamefully be thrown out.
And then you have to say one thing about Faneka Yode, whose statement led to the burning of that market.
He should be arrested.
And arraigned in court and remanded in custody.
Yes, he should be arrested. He's a bulldog. He should be arrested.
He ought to be in custody while Saturday's election is taking place.
All right, wonderful viewers, this is the march we're going to take for today. I don't want you to go away. We are still having a wonderful package for you. As it is in your environment will be coming up immediately after now. And that is when you are going to report, call in, tell them what is happening in your environment, how it is. Where they don't have a solution right here and there, they will direct whatever question you've asked to the appropriate quarters. So don't go away. Today, from my far left, I have St. Moses Obona. St. Moses Obona, thank you for being part of today's program.
Thank you.
And Comrade Nnamdi Lekwachi, we're glad having you.
Thank you so much. I'm always glad.
Barrister Chukwemeka Mwogo, it's our pleasure.
Thank you, moderator, and goodbye, viewers.
I want to viewers, and this is your command, Chinedum Adele. Keep watching Living TV. Meanwhile, sit tight, remain glued in that set, and watch as it is in your environment. You'll be so happy to be part of this program. Bye for now.